Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, October the 14th, 2022. Welcome to another eBay video. Today we're going to be discussing more about people filing false item not as described returns and some of the people that go so far over the top it is mind-boggling. I'm also going to discuss increasing your promoted listings bid. Does it do any good? Well, right now, I'm actually running an experiment once again. As you can probably see behind me, it is cloudy and windy. It's not raining this second, but heavy rain and very severe winds are expected tonight, of course. So we'll see how it goes. Let's go inside and let's get the video started. Okay guys, as always, we're going to start out with your comments, questions, and concerns from last week's video. Dennis Copper wrote with a question. Anyone notice on eBay, when you cancel an order, eBay is now giving you your 30 cents final value fee back instead of pocketing it? Dennis, they did make an announcement several months ago that they would start refunding our final value fees for cancellations. Again, the word cancellations is a little scary on eBay. I mean, I myself don't like to do cancellations unless there's a serious extenuating circumstance. When a buyer clicks to buy your item or places a bid in the auction, he or she is entering a binding contract. All right, guys? Don't make light of that, all right? Dennis also made another statement. This might help some of you good sellers on eBay. My coworker wanted to sell an item at a lower price. I said, hell no in my mind. I told him instead, since we have so many of these, we will sell in quantity, and each one they buy, the price will get lower. They will get a better deal, and we will move more of them out of the warehouse, making room for a small freezer where we can store ice cream. It's nice to have ice cream in the afternoon while working. He agreed. They are now selling like hotcakes. Dennis is talking about in quantity listings. When you have quite a few, you offer the buyer an incentive. So let's say the first one is $20. If the buyer buys 2, he gets them for $19. If he buys 3, he gets them for $18 each. And so on and so on. I use this myself, and I found it to be quite effective. But one of the things about it that can be concerning, and this has happened to me more than once, is when a person goes out of their way to buy all 4 of the items, and then either A, wants to cancel, or B, wants to return them saying they don't fit his alloy rim. It's one thing to make a mistake when you buy an item, but to go through the trouble of physically changing the quantity from 1 to 4 and not even checking to see if they fit your alloy rim, that just boggles my mind. Duncan VR wrote, I like repeat buyers. I have hundreds of them. I always know when I get them daily, it will be a trouble-free transaction. Duncan, I openly disagree with you on that. In public. I told you guys the story last week of a person, a deadbeat buyer, who was a repeat buyer. He would send me lowball offers on all items. I mean, they were mainly dogs, so I didn't mind giving him the cheap price, because he did pay. But this last time, he never paid. And I can guarantee you one thing. He'll never stiff me again, because I blocked him. You get one chance in the pros. You should never stiff an eBay seller. It's unconscionable. Mercedes Lux wrote, great video. Thank you, Joe. I guess when you see the words repeat buyer on offers, you may need to check their feedback anyway. Do not let repeat buyer mislead you to accept an offer. On your return of the heavy item, I would appreciate you making a video when you refund the buyer, less the shipping cost. Here in Mississippi, we're going into our third week with no rain. Look at this. No rain predicted for next week either. We might as well be in the desert. Mercedes Lux, you're a long-time viewer of my videos. It's rare we ever get 1 week where it hasn't rained 1 or more days. It's rare. Also, you were talking about me making a video on accepting the return of that heavy item. During the week, timing was very bad this week. During the week, the buyer returned that item. Okay? And as I said I would do, I took a decent size discount. All right? Meaning he didn't get a full refund. Let's just say the item was $50. I don't remember how much it was, to be honest with you. I subtracted the shipping there, and I subtracted the shipping back, and that's too bad. All right? I didn't make a video, but I'll tell you why in a second. All right? Gave him his partial refund. And I wrote, you get a little space where you have to write. When you take a partial deduction, you must write the reason, explain it. And I wrote it. I said, this was on you. The item was clearly as described. You made the mistake. I'm subtracting shipping to and from. Okay? Guess what happens? I swear to Christ on the cross in Brooklyn. It didn't take this jerk 10 minutes to open a case with eBay. 10 freaking minutes. He opened the case because he wanted the rest of his money back. eBay gave him the rest of his money back and sent me a letter saying there will be no penalty to me and it will not come out of my pocket. I'm allowed to keep the money. This is a good example of how, in many cases, eBay will have our back, especially if you're a top-rated seller. You offer 30-day returns, not 30-day free returns. I'm not saying that. I'm saying 30-day returns, okay? As long as you have a good track record like Cute Joey, most of the time you won't have any problems at all. Next comment, T-Town Trekker. Joe, regarding blocking post office boxes, I've used it in the new system and it does work. My buyer just went in and changed his mailing address to eBay to his work address. But you do have to change it with every transaction because the system defaults back to no blocks. You are correct, T-Town Trekker. It is very tedious every time you're doing a listing to have to block post office boxes. I've been forgetting half the time. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I forget. I am done with post office boxes. It costs me too much money to ship a 17 by 17 by 8-inch box from the East Coast out to California to a post office box. I've lost too many times on that. Dan Frisco wrote, Joe, yes, I was speaking mostly about the international call center, but it applies to the Utah call center too. The Utah call center is contracted out by eBay. They don't work directly for eBay, and they're contracted out to pretend they're eBay representatives. They also don't have, as you say, the juice to do much with accounts other than escalate to others who have to do more access to make changes. I've had a few calls go to the Utah Center, and the same experience applies, like talking to a brick wall. Maybe I just got the reps that don't care and do as little as possible in their jobs, but that has been my experience. Well, Dan Frisco, to touch on your points, as far as the overseas Philippines call center goes, you're spot on, okay? No argument whatsoever. I used to deal with them early on in my eBay career, and I know exactly where you're coming from. All right? I don't want to get too graphic. I was going to say something. I was going to make an analogy, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to hold back on that. As far as the Utah call center, This is the first I've ever heard that eBay is contracting out the company over there to do this. I myself have spoken to reps in the Utah Customer Service Center, and I have received satisfaction. Now, it's possible because I have concierge, I can't swear to you. All right? I'm just telling you the way it is. So, yeah. Last comment is a real good one that I like a lot. It's from Dead Mousy Pluta Prestige. Joe is more successful because he put in his 1,500 hours, meaning he networked himself through social media sites and made contacts with people that increased his profile within eBay. Joe is self-employed in his life, so it paid dividends to work the system to his advantage. Remember the phrase, you can't fight City Hall? Well, it's easier to make the contacts with people of stature if you plan on fighting eBay for what's right for Joe's business. eBay to me was nothing but a side hustle, so putting it at work wasn't worth my time. I'm not begrudging Joe. For anyone that wants to be successful should take a page out of this man's book. Okay. Yes, I have put myself out there. In the beginning, I didn't. All right? Pre-2012, I was one of these people that stayed in the background, moaned and groaned and complained, and put out occasional videos. All right? But it's just like Dead Mousy Pluta Prestige was trying to say. If you want to get somewhere, you have to be active. You cannot sit and moan and groan. You have to attend the events. You have to make contacts. Put yourself out there. All right? Most people you're going to meet are nice people, sellers like you. Okay, sure. There are going to be some bad news people out there, but that's with anything, not just with eBay. So yeah, I hope you guys understand the point we're trying to make there. We're now going to move on to new topics. I want to discuss, firstly, promoted listings and possibly upping your percentage. Now, okay, stop. I hear the moaning and I hear the groaning. I'm just talking from my perspective, okay? I have always bid the minimum, which, as you know, is 2% promoted listings. It used to be 1%, but everybody was bidding 1%, so eBay raised it to 2% for absolutely no reason other than to garner more money. All right? I'm calling it as I freaking see it. For the longest time, I've ridden with the 2% bid, and I've done very well. This week, I noticed a marked slowdown. Now, Sunday, you can say it was because of the football games. I get that. Monday was okay. Tuesday was meh. Wednesday was awful. One of the slowest days I've had probably all year. In the year 2022, I believe Wednesday was either my slowest day or definitely in the top 5. Now, maybe it was an aberration. Maybe it was a freak. I don't know. So what I decided to do was I decided to up my bid to 4% just to see what would happen. Try an experiment. Like the old saying goes, it's like chicken soup. It can't hurt. So I upped my bid to 4%. So far, it's too early for me to make an honest-to-goodness claim, but I will say my sales have improved big time. All right? Thursday was very good. All right? I'm very happy with Thursday's sales. I can't swear at this time it's because I raised my bid. All right? But I can see in the sales record that it says that this item sold due to promoted listings. I can see that clearly. eBay tells you that information. So, again, I'm just putting it out there. Somebody mentioned in last week's video, they were crying about the fees. Not just the promoted listing fee, but the fact that you got to kick about 12% upstairs every time you sell something on eBay, which is true, and it does hurt. Think about that. 12% on a $100 sale is $12. He even went on to say that it's cheaper to sell on Amazon than it is eBay. And I don't sell on Amazon, but I have to take the man's word for it. But the guy also said that he prefers to sell on eBay because eBay is more seller-friendly than Amazon. That's a fact. I've been coming out here, guys, since freaking 2007, telling you guys that eBay is the best place to sell your used items. I still say that. I say it's even better now than it ever has been. But yes, there are certain policies that I feel are unfair to sellers. Like these rubber stamping of the item not as described cases. Let me now segue right into the item not as described soliloquy, if I may. I hope you guys appreciate that I am ad-libbing this entire monologue, okay? I don't write down huge notes. I just go up what's in my head and I expound on it, all right? So I want to talk to you now, not just about item not as described cases, but some of these people that literally have mental issues. What's going on lately? All right? Let's talk about item not as described returns. You send an item to a customer, he gets it. He decides to return it for some reason. Now, he could check, just didn't like it, change mine, or whatever, and pay the shipping and send it back to you. Some people are very honest and do that. There are some people that I will call scammers. They claim there's something wrong with the item when there isn't, and they file a false item not as described claim so that you have to pay the shipping back. Okay, look, they're annoying. I get that. They're on the increase. I get that. But for the most part, they're out of your life once you finish the transaction. I'm not really interested in talking about them today. I'm talking about the new breed of psychopath that seems to have emerged over the last month. Oh my God, I don't know what's going on. This has happened to me 2 weeks in a row. And it makes no sense. A buyer will purchase an item and get it. Now, it doesn't matter whether the person has a feedback of 5 or 1,000. Instead of filing even a false item not as described claim, they go through the trouble of writing this freaking 3-paragraph angry rant to me, stating why they don't like the item, what's wrong with the item, and why I did a lousy job of describing the item. Then they send me not 1, not 2, but 10 pictures of the same item that I've already sent them. I know what the item looks like. I don't need to see 10 pictures of my own item. I firmly believe some of these people are either psychotic or possibly very lonely. And I'll tell you why. As I said, I had 2 such cases this week. Either one of them could have just clicked on item not as described and sent the item back to me because the eBay return system favors the buyer. All right? We all know this. Look, here's a can of Coke right here. You buy this can of Coke from me. All right? I send it to you. You get it, and you said, oh, God, I thought it was a can of Pepsi I was buying. I don't want Coke. You could file an item not as described claim, and it's rubber freaking stamped, and you, the honest seller, have to pay the shipping back. The word is out. All right? The word is out, and people know it. So why do these people, not just even these dishonest ones, why do they go through the trouble of these paragraphs and all these pictures? It's ridiculous. I wrote to this guy the other day after he sent me this crap, I said, I'm curious. I said, you can clearly see I take returns for 30 days, no questions asked. I would like to know why you found it necessary to send me a 3-paragraph litany of why you're unhappy with this $20 item and send me 10 more pictures of an item that I've already photographed. And by the way, my pictures were better. I said, why do you go through all that trouble when you know you're going to open a return? He never answered me, but he opened the return mighty quick. If he would have just opened the return, even item not as described, right away, it would have been a lot less headaches for him and for me, for both of us. I don't understand why this is happening. Now I have another one while I have you here. Same exact topic, item not as described. And I've talked about these before. I should get up and get this because this is important. I want you to understand. Okay, follow along, look at the camera, okay? Some time ago, a GM dealer went out of business and I bought his entire inventory. And what he had was sets of lock bolts and keys, okay? They match, all right? They're brand new in the package and they're not used. But they only fit certain cars, okay? Now, you know I'm methodical in my description, and I always use the drop-down menu, and I include all the cars that they fit. These are for certain GM cars, mainly Buicks, but not just Buicks, but a lot of Buicks. So I go through the trouble of listing all the Buicks that they fit. So I sent a lock set out, and the person writes this nasty, hateful message to me saying how I'm no good, that I didn't describe it properly, that they don't fit her car, that they're the wrong length, and that the key broke while she was trying to use them. Now, she said the locks I sent her were too short. And the reason they're too short is because she needs these longer ones. See the difference? Look. See? Okay? The longer ones are used on a Buick Riviera. The shorter ones are used on your LeSabre, your Century, etc., etc., okay? Which is why in the drop-down menu, I had Buick Century selected, Buick LeSabre, but not Riviera. Okay? She made another mistake by saying she tried to force them on and broke the key. She's trying to make it sound like the key was defective. Now, here is the piece de resistance. And only you eBay Motors guys will understand this. The rest of you will just have to go like that for a minute. There are some people, when they buy on eBay, they state what kind of car they're driving right in the purchase field, okay? If you're not on eBay Motors, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about, but the rest of you will. So luckily, this bird brain did, and she has clearly selected 1990 Riviera. I love it! I love it! So I wrote to her. I wrote back. I said, everything you have just said is your fault. Number one, you didn't read the drop-down menu. You have stated you have a 1990 Riviera, and these don't fit. You said they're the wrong length. Well, they are, because they don't fit a Riviera. You made the mistake. You even said you tried to use them and broke the key. All right? And she wrote back to me a second time. I am filing an item not as described case. I demand an immediate refund. That's twice she said that to me about filing a case. As of this filming, she hasn't filed it, but I think the chances are pretty good she will. Now, here is where it goes back to what I said earlier. Even though it's concrete proof she made the mistake, bang, it's going to be rubber stamped, and Cute Joey is going to be held for the shipping back. But Cute Joey is going to deduct for shipping both ways and for the broken brand new key that she broke. All right? I'm not kidding. And that one, I will make a video of, okay? That will be a teaching tool. I know I said I was going to do it the other day, but unfortunately, the return came when I was busy with something else, and I didn't have time for a video. But yeah, a few people have written in and said they want me to show how to do a deduction on eBay, and I give you my word, if she files, there's a video going up once I get that item back. And that, my friends, is all I have to talk about right now. Let me just open this beautiful can of soda up, and let me take a drink. This is the mini Coca-Cola. I don't usually buy the small cans, but they had them on sale the other day in the supermarket. So yeah, I bought them. Sales this week were iffy. As I said, there was a few good days, but Wednesday was scary slow. And I do mean scary slow. I've been reading some of the comments in the Facebook groups, and I do believe other people are seeing a slowdown as well. I think the problem is that this week, Amazon was having either its Prime Day or some kind of a special sale for Prime members. And I think that a lot of people have been devoting their time to Amazon, which is definitely not good for us. Amazon is the evil entity. So yeah, that being said, guys, I'm Crazy New York Driver, and you're not. Thank you for watching this video. Every Friday I come out here and I make these videos to try and help you stay successful on eBay. If you think I'm doing a good job, please leave me a thumbs up. It tells me I'm on point and appreciated. If you don't think I did a good job, tell me in the comments section what you want me to hit up, and I'll be more than happy to try and do it next week. I'm out of here. It's already started raining. I don't know if you can tell, but if you look close at the window behind me, right, like there, you can see that there's beads of water all over it. But it's going to get heavier and nastier as the day progresses. All right? Rock on and peace!